Hello souls on YouTube, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, I want to show you how you can stop your negative self-talk that prevents you from living the life you dream. Instead, I will help you gain confidence, no longer feel shame, create those relationships, those partnerships, those business opportunities that you desire. Now, I understand that during your day, you have moments where you feel inadequate or unworthy. You just feel like an intruder, perhaps in conversations or after you do an action. Yet, you're talented. You have passions. You are an interesting person. So why are you in this situation in the first place? And what can you do about it? In this video, I will share you insights from your souls, why you're here, what your souls are trying to tell you, and what you can change on a fundamental level that will bring you confidence in all areas of life. Yes, I'm talking in your personal relationships, in your business, and to be honest, just in your self-perception. So, sit back, relax, and let's dive in. So let's go back in time a bit. Now, imagine when you were a kid and there was this toy that this other kid had that you really wanted. Now, do you think that you went through all of the repercussions and the possible punishments that you would get from life or from, your parents or teachers or from the kid themselves? No, you just wanted it, you desired it, and you took it. And that's it. That was the action. Or for example, when you wanted to get over a fence to get to the other side, you had to cross the road. Now, do you think that you actually planned and really analyzed the possible dangerous vehicles that could come by before you crossed the road and jumped over the fence? No, you were a kid. You wanted to do that. So you just did it. You didn't really worry about all of the other things around you. Now, what is the difference when you are older? When you become a teenager, when you become an adult, and so on? Well, the difference is that then you overthink. You think too much about all of these possibilities that you can't control, and you plan and you try to somehow manage the supposedly risks, and many times that prevents you from actually taking action, and you become a passive bystander. Now, why does this happen from a soul's perspective? Well, simply, when you're a child, you kind of still remember that we all are part of a bigger soul, which is the universe. There is not really a division between you and the other person. Now, this is talked in psychology, so it's not really a new kind of idea. There's this whole separation between I and other that becomes apparent when you grow up. Well, this is the same thing. So what happens is that when you're a kid, you don't really kind of separate yourself from other people. You think that, we're all together, kind of. That is where the image of the kid is in the center of the universe and everything revolves around them. Well, you can see it that way. Or just maybe more simply, you can see it as we're all one big soul. And that's pretty much what the kid sees. And so, therefore, they're not afraid of actually going up and talking to strangers, or, as I explained previously, their actions are pretty much just do it. Not much in the head, just like acting, and that's pretty much it. Now, when you become older, this division does take place. You do realize that, wait, we are actually technically not so like one soul, I have souls, you have souls, there is this division. And now what happens with this division is that it creates this sense of uncertainty, because in a sense, if you're not part of that one soul, then you tell yourself, well, then you're something else. You are unknown. And the unknown, that's what freaks us out. That's what we're wired to always kind of detest and somehow mitigate around, to something that is known. Now, as a survival instinct, this is very, very good, nothing wrong with it, but the problem nowadays, and what this video is kind of tackling, is that when it just controls your life. This division later becomes an obstacle in success in your life. Now, because you start to no longer actually act like you did when you were a kid, you start to overthink, you start to just not actually do, you become a passive bystander. That's when all of this negative self-talk actually comes into play. Because you are not allowing your souls to actually just act like you used to when you were a kid, now you're actually repressing, in a sense, their desire to manifest. That's where all of this shame, doubt, criticism starts piling up in your head, and you wake up with that, you live your life with that, and you go to sleep with those negative thoughts. Now, it's kind of maybe a bit abstract what I just tried to say, but I'm trying to show you the bigger perspective. As always, the point to living your life is not to just be a robot and listen to others and do what others tell you. It is actually to be who you are meant to be. Now, I'm not going to be telling you who you're meant to be, because that's for you to find out. But my point is that don't believe in this image that we are being sold when during school, that you're just meant to go this one path, and that life is only with material things. For example, when I was at school, what we were taught was that, okay, you finish your high school, you go to university, you get a career, you start a job, you get a house, you get a car, you get a relationship, then you get kids, then you start to put them into school, then eventually you become grandfather or grandmother, and then eventually you retire, and then you live your old life in, I don't know, a retirement home or somewhere. Bit of a sentence, but point being is that that's what they told you, and that's it. And they said nothing more and nothing less. I'm here to tell you there is so much more. There is so much more that you can discover. The point being is that you're not just some mechanistic being that doesn't have a soul. And when you think of doing things in life, don't just think of doing them for the material gains. Yes, that is important, but at the end of the day, you are not just here to earn money or to get a house or to get more stuff. You are here to manifest your soul's purpose, and each one has its own. So perhaps maybe your soul's purpose could be to be just, the materialistic person, but if it's not, which probably for most of us it's not, then I'm just here to tell you that there is so much more to you than you actually think. Now, where does this tie in with the negative self-talk and the low confidence? I'm going to tell you this. As I think I started off my channel with, which was with emotional flashbacks, and that they are messages from your souls that you are not aligned with your soul's purpose. Well, I want to make that same kind of connection, and actually I'll be going down because that's a building and it's not that nice. So I want to make that same connection with your negative thinking, which is that when you get these cycles and these patterns of negative thoughts, for example, during a conversation, you kind of think, oh, is this person actually interested in what I say? You're worried about their judgments, or after you give in your paper, or you're giving your work assignment, and then, you think, is my boss gonna like it? Or, is the person who I gave it to actually going to read this? Or, all of that, let's say, noise that chatters. It's kind of because you are not doing what your souls want you to do, which is you are not doing what you're meant to do in this life. I know that this statement is put in very simple terms, and you will say, what are you talking about? Yes, there are nuances. Yes, there is more to this, which I will explain. So when I talk about aligning to your soul's purpose, what I'm saying is that you should view life as living with purpose. So not just for somebody and not just for you, but for creating that message that you're sent here on earth to share. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be like say it out loud like I'm doing right now with a camera. It can be through writing. It can be through creating, like business deals, creating a shop, whatever it is. We all are messengers in any case. I always say, every one of us is a messenger, okay? We all have messages that we transmit to others, and we receive messages as well. So that's the first thing. You have to view yourself as a messenger on this world. In this world. So, how can you find your soul's purpose? Now, there are nuances to this, there are layers, we could say, but the first thing that I want you to do is an exercise that, I think I'll be repeating in all my videos, which is take 15 minutes each day. Find a quiet spot where you can't be disturbed and you can actually hear your thoughts. And ask yourself this first question. If I had abundance, if money and time were unlimited, what would I be doing right now? And I want you to allow yourself to get any kind of insights that come. We're not really trying to get the rational brain here. We want, your souls to come up and speak. Now, because today I'm going to be going a little bit more deeper into the soul's purpose, I also want to bring out this second layer, which is, as I was discussing, that if you think about it, although when now, you're a teenager or you're an adult, you have this division, as I was saying, between I and other, with that division, you kind of forget that you are part of this one soul, which, you can call the universe, whatever you want to call it. And because you forget that you're part of this one soul, in a sense, you think that, okay, then I am just one soul, this is my bubble, and that's all that matters. which is kind of paradoxical because that's what you thought when you were a kid, that, you know, you were part of this one whole soul, you were just the universe, and now you no longer believe that, or you have forgotten it. What this makes you do is forget others, because you have such a big division that you say, well, then why need others? You know, if I'm divided, then I kind of forget everybody else. Well, the problem with this is that you are not living in your own bubble. That's kind of an illusion that you have. Everybody else, as I said, as when you were a kid, you believed that you're all part of one. So to becoming aligned with your soul's purpose, you're going to have to remember that idea again. You're going to have to believe that idea again. And so why I am pretty much explaining this is because my second question that I want you to ask is going to be based on this idea that you can't just say, I'm just going to think about me, I'm going to ignore everybody else in my journey in life, in finding my soul's purpose. That doesn't work, okay? That's still your ego talking, that's still, you know, this whole division that, that we're not part of a bigger soul, and all that thinking. So, for the second question, I do want you to kind of remember maybe a bit of your belief when you were a kid. So, I want you to ask yourself as a follow-up question to the first question, which is, in this same state of abundance, so if money and time were unlimited, what can I see myself helping others with? So I'll repeat it. If I had abundance, if money and time were unlimited, what do I see myself bring to the table to help others with? And this kind of connects what others need that you can actually help with. So the idea being that others have a problem and that you can help them solve this problem, and therefore they will also see some value in your service or in your product. So that is a little bit more in depth about your soul's purpose. Now, I started off this video with saying how to stop your negative self-talk and how to gain confidence instead. How to create those relationships and those business opportunities that you desire. So how does this tie in with the soul's purpose? Well, simply, if you are manifesting your soul's desires, you won't be getting all these messages of your negative self-talk, which is, you know, when you shame yourself, when you doubt yourself, when you feel that everything you're doing is not good enough. That's pretty much your soul saying, you're not allowing us to manifest how we wish to manifest. So when you start to align with your soul's purpose, that will eventually dissipate. Now, how to bring that confidence instead? Confidence ties in with doing what you love. Now, I want you to picture the thing that you're passionate about. I started off this video by saying that I know you're talented, I know you have passions. So picture that one thing that you're so passionate about. And now imagine that you're talking about it. Well, now imagining it, it should, not be that uncomfortable. I mean, it's your passion. You speak with confidence when you're passionate about something. And now what I want you to do is imagine that in front of you, you would have this potential partner that you are interested in. And instead of doing what you maybe usually do with these kinds of people, where, you have expectations, you want to get something from them, a number, perhaps a date or whatnot. Now I want you to imagine a scenario where you don't have any of these expectations. The only maybe desire you have is to share your passion. And so what I want you to do, or I suggest you do, is next time when you find a moment, an event or some place, or even with your friends right now, when you find a moment, I want you to go into a conversation with this other person who you show some interest, and have no expectations on the numbers or getting a date afterwards. No, have no expectations of that. The only expectation that you have, or the desire that you have, is to share your passion. And after that, I want you to reflect on how it felt. And I bet it changed your view on conversations overall, where you actually talking about something that you're passionate about, you forget about everything that is around you. And you don't mind, all of those, let's say, insecurities that we all have, because we have insecurities. That is completely fine. But it's just, when we over-exaggerate them and that we just over-focus on our insecurities, that's when it gets a bit too much. So try this experiment out, and I think that will give you that taste of confidence that will push you towards staying on track and continuing to discover your soul's purpose. Because how do you stop that self-negative talk? And how do you beam that confidence into relationships, into business? It's by listening to your souls, doing what you're meant to do, doing what you love, and following, in a sense, your soul's purpose. So I know that this wasn't maybe a very evident or, quick 5 tips that will just completely, get you out of the hole. But I did want to share something that really resonates with me, and I hope resonates with you, because I believe that you're so much more than what you're taught in school, and I just want you to remember that. So I think that's it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you can see some changes after you implement the suggested exercises from my videos. So I'll see you next time, another day. Bye-bye.